Welcome, beautiful soul, to the Rose Frequency, a sacred space where sound, self love, and the divine feminine intertwine. Here we awaken to the unseen melodies of the universe, tuning our hearts to the frequencies of healing, grace, and deep transformation. I'm Karin, your guide on this sacred journey. Together, we'll explore the mysteries of sound, the power of prayer, and the vibration of love as we attune to the music of our highest self. Like the unfolding petals of a rose, we rise into love, remembrance, and rapture, where the sacred meets the sound and the soul meets its own divinity. So take a deep breath. Open your heart and let the resonance of the rose frequency bring you home. Welcome, beloved, to the very first episode of the Rose Frequency. My name is Karin, and I am truly honored you're here. Whether you know me personally, follow me on social media, or came across this podcast, I am grateful that your curiosity has landed you here to tune into the Rose Frequency. For this first episode, I want to share my story with you so that you may learn a little bit about how I came to be here now. To start, creating a podcast was not in my immediate plans, having only come into this idea less than 2 months ago. But it makes sense given the conversations, explorations, and healing sessions that I've had over the last 2 years. So here I find myself, together with you. Again, thank you. Well, my own spiritual journey has been long and winding. It began when I was a little girl, captivated by the image of Jesus. I would see his image, the one of the Immaculate Heart, displayed in the homes of family and friends, hanging on a wall or perched on an altar. I remember too watching the sacred story of Jesus that played on TV every Christmas. One year, my father didn't want to watch it, and I was devastated. So he said that I could watch it on the TV in the basement. And so there I went to watch it alone, crying in the end. I think I was around 6, maybe 7 years old. I do recall this memory with such fondness. I didn't yet have the language for what I felt, but something stirred within me. As I got a little bit older, the mysteries of ancient Egypt came into my awareness, and my fascination for its wonders grew wild. I was overtaken by my desire to learn more. It was just so magical. Around the same time, my father's love for astronomy further opened my world as he shared the constellations, the moon, and the planets with me. In time, his love for astronomy became my love for astrology, as did his love for nature became my love. By the age of 9, I was fascinated by spirit through the frequency of Jesus, the magic of celestial bodies, the mysteries of ancient Egypt, and the splendor of nature. I was already sensing a world beyond what I could see, a world of frequency, symbol, and soul. After many years, having lost my way, my dear cousin introduced yoga to me. This was about 15 years ago, at one of the darkest times in my life. Although I still had a great love for Jesus, I knew I had become disconnected. And at the age of 33, after watching for the first time The Passion of the Christ, I felt this deep yearning, a call to return to myself. I had found myself now walking on the path of yoga, initially starting with Hatha. A friend had then introduced me to Kundalini Yoga, first with the Kirtan Kriya, a meditation that invoked spirit with one of its most powerful mantras. By the time I came to practice Kundalini Yoga, the power of sound already had my central attention, and with mantras and the teachings of transmuting energy, I became engrossed with Kundalini Yoga. I had trained and became certified in both integral and Kundalini Yoga, though it was Kundalini that truly rooted me in the power of sound and spiritual transformation. That path eventually led me to take on an extensive training in becoming a certified gong player, where I began to use my knowledge in yoga with sound as a tool for healing. With Kundalini Yoga, I was engrossed with sadhana, which simply means a daily spiritual practice. Sadhana is where practitioners would gather at 4 in the morning to recite the Japji, the sacred text of the Sikhs, transmute energy through Kriya, or conscious movement, and end with an hour of singing mantras. It is a beautiful transformative practice that I attended religiously for close to 4 years until COVID happened. About 5 months before the spring of 2020, and as someone with strong Mercury energy in my astrological chart, I've always been drawn to the mind. Another reason why Kundalini Yoga fascinated me. Well, it was through this curiosity of the human mind that I became certified as a psychosynthesis life coach. A few years later, no less than 2 years ago, I began to study Sufi spiritual healing, where I truly discovered that the greatest teacher is the heart. It was through my dear, beautiful friend that I had met in Kundalini Yoga, who had converted to Islam and had taken my hand as she learned, sharing its beauty and its wisdom. This is where I learned about zikr, the remembrance of the divine through recitation. It was toward the end of these studies when I couldn't quite place my finger on what was missing that my beautiful cousin, the very same one that showed me yoga, reached out to me about how she had discovered our ancestral roots. Although I was already sitting occasionally in ceremonies from the path of the Red Road since 2017, this discovery had come at a time where I began to question my path, and so I found myself leaning more deeply into this knowledge, where spirit and sacred songs continue to touch my heart. My spiritual journey has been rewarding, showing me how despite its differences in approach, in truth, no matter the path, the similarities are far greater. Spirit is everywhere and opens the path in countless ways, all gifted so that we can find our way home. Recently, I've come to a place of gratitude for the Catholic influence in my upbringing, and it's interesting that by the time I record this episode, Pope Francis had passed. I certainly should have recorded this long ago, but God's timing will always be better. With that said, similar to what I've learned on this long and winding path, I can see the beauty that this man dedicated his life to God, to spreading the good word, and had touched millions of hearts. Many may say negative things, but I wish to bloom into the beauty of the impact he left behind. That is the essence of the rose frequency. I now see how every step I've walked, every path I've explored, has been a sacred strand in the tapestry of my return home. The rose frequency was born from all of this, from the longing to create a space where we don't just talk about healing, we experience it. Where we don't just learn, we remember. This is not a space where I come to teach from a pedestal. This is where my curiosity becomes the teacher and we learn together. In future episodes, we'll explore the healing power of sound, the mystery of self-love as a spiritual path, the history of sacred vibration, the rapture of remembering your true essence. And in Woman of the Rose, we'll honor the woman of devotion, past and present, who live in love with the divine. We'll invoke the presence of Mother Mary, not as a religious figure, but as a frequency, a symbol of the sacred feminine rising in all of us. If your heart has been aching for something more beauty, more depth, more devotion, welcome home. This is the rose frequency. I hope you'll bloom with me. Thank you for tuning into the rose frequency. May the echoes of love, sound, and self-discovery continue to bloom within you. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it, leave a review, or connect with me on social media. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. Let's keep this vibration growing together. Until next time, keep blooming, beautiful soul.